Halo Wars 2 picks up 28 years after the events of Halo Wars 1, with the Spirit of Fire lost in space with all surviving crew members in cryosleep. The year is 2559, a short time after the events of Halo 5, which takes place in 2558. The game starts with the Spirit of Fire waking up due to an unanticipated situation. Serena explains that she's repaired the ship over the past 28 years and all remaining crew are safe, but Serena had to deactivate herself due to the protocol's 7-year lifespan of a smart AI. Now, without the ship's AI and due to their out-of-date geographical data, little do they know that they are actually situated over the Ark. Professor Anders explains that although they arrived here recently via slipspace, the Spirit of Fire doesn't have a slipspace drive anymore due to the fact that it was used in Halo Wars 1 to destroy the Shield world. She explains that something or someone on the surface of the Ark opened a portal and initiated the slipspace jump. Mid-explanation, they receive a UNSC message from the surface, but it's encrypted with modern technology and they're unable to decode it. This gives them hope that humanity is still alive and that the war has not yet been lost. They find the rough location of the signal and send a team down to find the exact position. Spartan Red Team find the location of the signal and discover Isabel, an AI left on the ring by the Ark research team. Due to their 28-year sleep, Red Team immediately asks about the Covenant threat, not realising that the war is over. Isabel, confused, tells them they're in great danger and need to leave. Before they can exit the facility, they're ambushed by Atriox, and after a short fight, are defeated. Atriox allows them to retreat back to the ship to find out where they're located in order for his banished troops to scavenge the ship for materials. Back on the ship, Red Team present Isabel to Captain Cutter, and she quickly updates him with what's happened. She explains that 5 months previously, the portal linking the Ark to Earth that had opened up in Halo 3 had shut down without warning, with Atriox and the Banished arriving 1 month later. She explains how the Covenant used the Banished as expendable soldiers for the Great Journey, sending 40 of them in at a time to break the human front line for the rest of the army to attack. Each time, none returned, except Atriox, and each time he returned, he became more of a legend amongst the Covenant. Ultimately, due to his infamy of being an unkillable warrior, his fame and influence became so strong that the Prophets tried to banish him. He defied the Covenant, rebelling and fighting against them and inspiring others to follow him against the Prophets. Atriox and his newly formed Banished spent the following years raiding Covenant stockpiles and resources, creating an army of his own, gaining weapons, vehicles and soldiers to a point where the Covenant could not contain or defeat him. After explaining Atriox's background, Isabel advises them to run from the Ark, but Cutter states that due to their 28-year cryosleep, their old life is gone and all they have is themselves and the ship, so they will stay and fight to prevent Atriox from causing any more damage to the galaxy. Atriox starts attacking the Spirit of Fire, bringing their defences down. Near the point of defeat, Anders presents a plan of using the Ark to create another Halo, disabling the firing mechanism, and as the Ark can send a replacement Halo to any of the original Halo Ring's destinations, they could place a distress signal on the newly made Halo and jump away from the Ark to the destination of Installation 04. Which is the closest ring to the planet Reach and therefore more likely to be in range of a comms beacon. Her plan needs 12 hours to complete, but without immediate action, the Spirit of Fire won't be able to hold off Atriox's forces for long enough. Therefore, Isabel comes up with a plan to destroy Atriox's ship. Isabel and Spartan Jerome board Atriox's ship, the Enduring Conviction, and after cleaning the weapons room of elites, Isabel is placed inside the control panel and starts to activate the glassing beam. She aims the beam at the Ark's surface, activating the Ark's defense protocols, while Jerome defends Isabel from inside the ship from an onslaught of brutes trying to stop her. Millions of Sentinels immediately activate and swarm up to the ship, flying directly into it until the ship is ripped in two. Isabel and Jerome jump from the ship to escape as it plummets to the surface of the Ark. Atriox and the shipmaster, currently on the Ark's surface, see shrapnel from the ship raining from the sky as the newly formed Halo ring rises from the centre of the Ark's surface. Atriox sends some banished forces onto the ring to try to deactivate it before it can jump away through the portal. But while some of the forces remain on the Ark fighting Atriox, another group of humans are fighting on the surface of the ring, trying to eliminate the banished presence there so Anders can complete her task of activating the jump sequence. Anders, currently in the ring's control room, uses her ability to control the ring's systems to separate a segment of the ring containing the banished forces and detach it, propelling it into space. While the ground troops from the ring are en route to the Spirit of Fire, Anders starts the jump procedure for the Halo but is unable to slow it down to give the Spirit of Fire enough time to land on the ring. Anders remains on the ring alone as it goes through the portal, promising Captain Cutter that she will make sure that she activates the beacon as soon as she's back to the Sol system, which she says should be a few weeks. Cutter says that until Anders gets back, they have a lot still to do on the Ark, so they continue their campaign against Atriox. Anders, meanwhile, drops out of slip space unexpectedly, so goes to the surface to find out what has happened, only to be confronted with a Guardian, exclaiming that they might have been safer on the Ark. The story on the Ark continues in the Awakening the Nightmare DLC, which takes place several months after the events of Halo Wars 2, with both the Banished and human forces still in conflict and neither side gaining or losing much ground. Therefore, we can presume that Anders was not successful in getting to the Sol system and activating the beacon due to the Guardian, and with Atriox's ship the Enduring Conviction destroyed, Atriox is also cut off from his supplies and from contacting his forces spread throughout the galaxy. To remedy this, Atriox is forced to look at the wreckage of High Charity to find the resources he needs to turn the tide of the war in his favour. With High Charity infested with Flood, having crashed on the Ark during the events of Halo 3, Atriox tells two of his high-ranking Banished, Voridus and Pavium, not to go inside the quarantine zone and to keep the shield intact, but Voridus, believing the Flood infection to be a Covenant myth, deactivates the Ark's Sentinel defense system and uses a Scarab to blast his way directly through the quarantine perimeter surrounding High Charity. He proceeds to send 3 of his team inside to scavenge the interior of the ship, but they soon discover the Flood and his team are swiftly infected, exiting the ship, fighting the remaining brutes waiting outside and spreading into the surrounding area of the Ark. After fighting off the Flood for some time, Voridus is able to enter a Forerunner structure and reactivate the Ark's defences. The Banished continue to conduct a cleanup of the Flood, with Atriox disappointed that they were unable to follow orders, resulting in the Banished losing multiple fortifications and requiring him to redeploy troops away from fighting the UNSC in order to contain and eliminate the parasite. He tells them to personally resolve the situation before he arrives or suffer grave consequences. Pavium and Voridus continue their campaign against the Flood when they come across a huge proto-gravemind. A centralised attack on the proto-gravemind is ordered and it's destroyed just before Atriox arrives. Atriox scolds the 2 brutes in person once again for not obeying simple instructions, and the game finishes with Atriox looking upon the remains of the proto-gravemind with swarms of sentinels flying overhead, cleansing the surrounding area of the remaining Flood whilst on their way to the damaged quarantine shield of High Charity. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting. Please leave a comment down below with any questions and we'll see you in the next one.